perfect as you think you are, if you thought that way.
Yeah. We're all just co-defendants judging his life.
I guess like since let's tap dance to this one because this is gonna be a weird one. Kodak Black. Thoughts of him on this album?
I'm not 100% aware of all the critics or like criticism that goes on with this album. I know that there is some criticism that goes along with the choice of having Kodak Black on the Big Steppers, and I think there's a few various different reasons. So one of them is that it's just Kodak Black, and like we don't want this mumble rapper on this conscious rap album. I think it's one that's like the more lighter side of it. Like, why do we want this guy that's always talking about like shooting and doing drugs or whatever, like on this like conscious album? Like, people didn't really see why he was on there. And then two, there's like the whole other thing about him going to jail, and some of the stuff that he went to jail for were like for, I think he like assaulted a minor. He's been to jail at least 3 times. At least I feel like he's been to jail at least 3 times.
I think so. I don't know for sure.
I remember for a while it was like DMX when he was going in and out of jail. I was like, oh, is Kodak Black back? It's like, yeah, he just dropped an album. Like, oh, where is he now? Oh, he's back in jail again. Like, dang.
I think for me, Kodak's not like the biggest thing, like not the biggest thing for me on the album, as you can see from my earlier posting. But like, I think this is me doing like a huge reach again. But I feel like one of the main reasons that Kendrick Lamar has like included this person to the album is because he likes him and he wants a thing, and maybe it's just because the kinship of like, I think K Dot can see a lot of the same stuff. I think K Dot can see like how easily these roads could have been different, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Or it's the same. I maybe like, and I think this is why like that line about I like when they're pro black, I'm more Kodak Black is a thing where it's like, hey, like I kind of don't give a fuck about like being the right or wrong, this being right or wrong. Like, I fuck with this dude, so I'm just gonna fuck with him, right? Like, I fuck with him. I see that. I think I can easily see that Kendrick can have way more deeper conversation with Kodak Black than he can have with a regular like person like me and you, but with his life experience. I think they would have like a way more meaningful conversation and be able to connect. And I think K Dot appreciates that and wants that type of energy on this album. That's when it talks about him coping and dealing with shit that has plagued him for his whole career.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a song about if you want to have an album about imperfection, and you want to have the perspective of someone that's talented, and seems to have like a very like strong work ethic in their output, like I don't think you could pick a person that's better than Kodak Black in that standpoint, because he's on that he's like on that like a Lil Wayne trip where he's been rapping since he was a kid.
Yeah, like it's very like this comes into a slightly other thing where it's like, a lot of these artists are kid celebrities in a weird way. Right? And it's like crazy how sometimes we miss that. It's like, like Lil Wayne was extremely popular when he was 15. And then people, and like, definitely, I'm not endorsing all of what Lil Wayne did, but he was 15 when he was getting all this power and recognition, and 15 from a place that didn't have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Like, even when Kodak Black came out, in terms of like overall nationwide celebrity, he was only 19. 19 when he made, no, even before, he was about 19, maybe 18, 19. Oh no, he was 18 when the No Flockin' was released. Like, he was still, like, he wasn't necessarily a kid, but he wasn't necessarily an adult. But he'd been working on his craft for years before he came out. And like, he's got some hard lines of this. I'm not gonna lie, like the big old ruby diamond on my pinky finger, that like a ring pop. That's a hard line for someone who I love ring pops, bro.
That is pretty fucking good. Haters gonna hate, but I can't hate on that line.
Yeah, and I give my hats off to anybody who raps on a piano, like where there's no beats. I freaking love that junk. Or like, I'm the type to get my shooter whacked. I had to survive off a tuna pack, 5% tent on the whip. Like, who was that? Yo, that's a hard line, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, like I was saying earlier, like I think like you were saying, like I think this is one of the reasons why you include him because like yeah, he's this person that has obviously has his tangents, has been working on his craft for years and stuff like that. And it's but it's not perfect, which is like a part of being life, and it's also like he's not perfect, and he's been through a lot of traumatic stuff, I imagine as well.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm not perfect, but I can tell you for a fact I did not have the same lifestyle as Kendrick Lamar when he was 14.
Nah. There's
Right?
there's that whole line on it's not Crown. It's Mother I'm Sober, like before you judge a like when before you judge one of these rappers by how they move, like you should learn how they cope. Like cuz you don't know what they were feeling like when their uncle had to walk them home from school, or like you don't know what they had to deal, like what they're trying to chase out. Like kind of like it goes back to the first song, like United in Grief, where like these he's saying like we're all united in grief, and his grief was way he grieved was buying a bunch of stuff, like trying to make sure, like spending things unnecessarily, having extramarital affairs,
Yeah.
and you don't know how these people, like these actions, the way they move might just be a way like they show their grief and how they deal with stuff they haven't dealt with.
And like I think to that point, and I think this is like why like the future told you by a money counter, right? It's like leads into this same thing where it's like there's a lot of ways that people tell you to like how to deal with it, but like it's very interesting that people like you know how people deal with it, and like sometimes like to deal with that grief, it's like hey, just stack money until you can't stack money anymore to deal with all these pain and just say it was worth it, right? It was this pain. I had to have this pain so I could be successful. I had to have this pain to do this thing. And if I don't feel terrible, I'm not a great artist or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the only reason I'm a great artist is because of all this bad shit that happened to me, which
Yeah.
is not necessarily true. Like yes and no. Like your past has effect on you, but like Kendrick's not just talented because he had a horrible life. He's talented because he put in a lot of work on fucking rapping.
Yeah, he devoted like his life to music as a way like to deal with some of the pain that he had. And I was surprised that like Genius had an annotation of like some of the other rappers that maybe have made the same claims or claims similar. What's it called? Common said he started rapping like to do like he had experienced like some sexual abuse. Kevin Gates like said that he like started rapping because he was trying to like that was like a break from him from like some of the sexual abuse that was going on in his family life. And then you have like other people like uh Denzel Curry and like we were talking about before, like Lil Wayne, who had all these like really traumatic stuff that happened in their life, and they found various ways to grieve or to like get past the way that they were feeling. And maybe part of like Kendrick's story is like, hey, uh you should see a therapist too. Or you should find in like there's other ways to deal with the grief.
And like I guess like this is the perfect thing to tap into these last songs and stuff like that. Like, yeah, what do you think about that song? I want to go back to like I think it's called Auntie's Diary. We could go back to that one, but like I want to talk since we're talking about that one. What do you think about that song about Kendrick talking about like that experience? What did you feel?
That one is on Mother I Sober.
From my understanding, I might be fucked up here because like I didn't do any lookup yet of like getting deeper in lines, but pretty much from my understanding of that for storyline is like was he sexually abused or did he just what did you say from it? Because like at least from my thought, I thought like Kendrick wasn't sexually abused by this person, but like and he told everyone he did it, but no one believed him.
Yeah, I think that's the question of the story. Like I was having that same question, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I've like gone back and forth on it, on like whether or not that happened or not.
Bro, I listened to the song like 5 times, and every time I listened to it, I was like, was he sexually abused, or like was he just not believed, or like what is like I like for a song that seems so serious, like I had to like think about that, and I still kind of don't know. Like this is what I'm like thinking. I like at least from like the words he's saying he did it happen, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is there's a line in one of like towards the end of the song where he's talking about like, now I'm affected 20 years later, trauma has resurfaced, amplified as I write this song, I shiver cause I'm nervous. I was 5, questioning myself alone for many years. Nothing's wrong, just results on how them questions made me feel. And that's like when he goes in the song, like parts about like 7 years of like chasing manhood. Like, and all those women gave him superpowers, and like Whitney's gone by the time you hear this song. Like, what was that trauma that resurfaced? Like, is it him like realizing that like, hey, this might have happened and I just shoved this down? Is it like, is that also like what the thing is, like chasing manhood? Because like, I think of when I've heard like a few stories of like when people like are like molested by like a woman particularly, like sometimes they have this thing about this complex around manhood, where like they're taught to like, hey, that this is me being a man, like, you know, that like having sex is part of being like a man, this is a thing that I did, and I'm like I'm the man because of this, but you're like really questioning like, am I the man or did I just get taken advantage of? So that I was very confused on that one, and I'm still confused.
So like, yeah, that whole thing is difficult and definitely at least out my best. But like what you were saying, from at least what you were saying, from what I like the short amount of I've read of Iceberg Slim, I still need to go back and finish it. But that book is so uncomfortable.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's very interesting, like how like that traumatic instance that super young in his life has manifested into this person, and made him a man, quote unquote man, in this very specific way.
so backstory on that.
Yeah, you can go ahead because you actually finished the book.
Oh yeah, I did actually finish the book.
Yeah, bro. Like I struggle. I need to go back and finish, but it's hard, bro. That is a hard read, bro. It's like, bro, this is so fucked.
Yeah, so the story of Iceberg Slim is an autobiography about Iceberg Slim. He is a pimp in, like, I want to say that is active in maybe like the early 50s to 60s. I could be wrong. And like a big part of the book that like when it opens up, it talks about his, like, it goes through his entire life, including from like the moment he was like born and his relationships with his mom to the point where he decided to give up his life of being a pimp. And he's a very smart guy, like incredibly smart. But like the first part of his entrance into this life is one day his mom leaves him alone with this woman, and she ends up sexually abusing him. And he ended up like developing this hatred he had, like one towards his mother and two towards this woman, and like towards other women. And you can kind of see like how this hatred that he hasn't like really processed affects his view around women. And like you see it to its conclusion, how like this trauma that happened early in his life with this woman led him to like have these I don't know, this idea to be, kind of be like the man. And like he went from like being in a place where this woman was taking advantage of him to him going around and taking advantage of many women,
Multiple
women as he could get his hands on.
Is there anything you want to say about those like closing songs? I know I'm skipping over my auntie's man, it's called My Auntie's Diaries, I believe. Which I think everything is just a good song. I think it's a good song about like just generally like how like the like, you know, like that whole process and stuff like that can be very obvious to some people and not obvious to other people. And like I just find like what I find the most interesting part of the song when it's like, hey, I always knew this was in my cousin, and it makes it very interesting of like how like his cousin like kind of brings that back to being like, hey, like you know, I'm living my truth, I'm doing what I'm doing, just like our auntie or whatever. And I know what we did, like what you said and did when you were younger is all cool, but like it's not. It's all cool and forgiven, but like going forward, maybe you should put some thought into like how you use that word and like what you do with it, right? Because like if you just change the situation just very slightly, you could see how like this is like very impactful to me.
Yeah, and there's the theme of like his own like the theme of like imperfection and flaws, where you like he's having to deal with his own hypocrisy of like, you know, he's getting offended by like this one person that like I don't know if people that aren't aware, like there was this big thing, like I want to say it was in 2015 where this girl went on Kendrick Lamar's stage, the white girl, and she said, was repeating the words of the song, and one of the words of the song was the N word, and she said it, and Kendrick Lamar got like kind of upset, and he kicked her off the stage, and that goes back to this line at the end where it's like, dang, I'm not gonna say that line. Never mind. I was like, where his cousin is saying that like, hey, you can say this word that I find offensive, but only if you let this white girl say the N word, and like he's having to deal with his hypocrisy of like him saying these words that hurt her, but he is unwilling to let this woman say a word that hurts him. But it's like also the stories about him like developing his like thoughts around the situation.
Yeah, and if you like one of the first people that I ever showed him how to write a rap was like this person that transitioned or transitioning or like was not regular straight or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it's pretty obvious through the song that Kendrick Lamar obviously respects him. I don't know her pronouns or whatever, but he respects his aunt or his aunt or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sorry. Those are two separate
Yeah.
people.
That's two separate people. But yeah, I guess like as the last thing to close, I know we kind of hit a lot of the quotes that we want to say, but is there any other lines that you want to say that you like from this album? Because I got one more.
Like, bro, you forget this is I have 6 pages of notes.
Oh, you still got more?
Like, I'm not even gonna do all of them, man. I got some in the chamber.
All right, yeah, all right. Put up your last thoughts, and then we can do the quote stuff.
Oh, okay. I got one. I have one take that it's too hot. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Ooh.
It's too hot.
California spicy.
And I think I've been talking about this with you on and off again. I think I might have said something about this on another one of our projects. Another one of our videos actually. But to some extent what I'm saying is not this, but I'm kind of saying this. I think part of this album, like the narrative of this album, is like about Kendrick Lamar slightly changing his political perspectives. I still can't say like exactly which one it is, but like there's a bunch of lines in it that have like seem to suggest that he's making a change. Like one, you have like, just go back to the end. We haven't even talked about this song, but the Heart Part 5, like, there's
we forgot about the heart.
Yeah, the Heart Part 5 where he's like criticizing, I guess, his own like the culture, and like, or some of the like the way he considers the negative things that it objectifies. Like, there's a line I kept talking about, like, it's lately I redirected my point of view and you won't grow waiting on me. Like, there's lines about like, there's this, everyone's worried about the struggle for the right side of history. Independent thought is like an eternal enemy. He's trying to move towards like a more independent thought about things. I think another line, I think it's my last line that I have for this. I'm done with the sensitive, taking it personal, done with the black and the white, the wrong and the right. You hoping for change in clericals, I know the feelings that came with burial cries. And I've had this feeling about this shift ever since, I want to say Damn, and also the end of To Pimp a Butterfly. Like, there's like a few lines where it's like, where he's like, don't call me black no more. Not that he's saying like he's not black, but he's like, I think he's trying to go into different like ideas. There's the whole narrative that was very controversial in To Pimp a Butterfly, where he's like, hey, the best way we deal with racism is just to change ourselves. Like, you can't, he said this at one point in an interview where it was like, how are the police going to respect us if we don't respect ourselves? And he got a lot of shit for that. He also got a lot of shit for the song I, which is like the closing, like the climax song on To Pimp a Butterfly, where it's like, the climax is like, hey, you got to love yourself. And the jaded view on that is like, hey, if you love yourself, then all your problems will go away and you don't have to deal with structural racism. Which I'm not saying I'm not going anywhere near that hot plate, because I think that shit is too complicated to even touch.
Hey man, I already tapped dance away from that.
Yeah, I was already. I'm saying this just because, like, man, I've been really thinking about this a lot. Like, is Kendrick becoming like a conservative? Was my question. Is he just like leaning more toward, like, less towards? Because that was one of the things I was a little bit worried about with him, like going, like, not participating in like the stuff, like the protest. But he was there in the protest.
I think that leap is not crazy to me, because like at least even this album, it definitely at the bare minimum, I think you have to confront that Kendrick Lamar is definitely he's been doing it for a long time, but like questioning his beliefs, his religious beliefs at least, right? Like he's been doing that for a long time, but like I think like if you're going to give him that, like where it's like, hey, this person's questioning his religious belief, I would imagine this person's questioning his political beliefs as well.
Yeah. Oh, I missed the line. I missed the line. The line before that is also important. It's like, it's better if I spare your feelings and tell you the truth. Lately, I redirected my point of view, and you won't grow waiting on me. Like, he's like saying like, yo, I hate to tell you, but I'm like, I've changed the way I view the world. The intro on the Heart Part 5, where it's like, hey, I've been going through some things. I've been like growing, and like everybody grows differently. I don't. Do you remember what the line was in the Heart Part 5,
Um,
where it's the end, where it's like, my views might not be your views. I realize life is perspective,
yeah.
and my perspective may differ from
While you're
yours.
looking it up, slight note that I'm gonna put in the outtakes. Uh, the heart, the heart series could make an EP by itself. It's a really good series. I don't understand how it's. I don't. I like it. I have a theory, a game theory, that the heart was a EP or album idea for Kendrick for a long time, and he decided to just break it up in pieces because they feel like it fits way too well.
I think you could really do that for real.
Like when you listen to it all together, just back to back, it like it feels like a good like structured like EP or mixtape, maybe even an album. But like it just feels too. It feels like it connects too well.
Yeah, I hope they remaster it, or they do some like really hardcore sweeps through it and just put it out as like, I would love to. I'd actually buy that on vinyl. I think it would actually be a really cool project to have on vinyl.
But I digress. Back
Yeah.
to finding the quote.
The other one quote that was in there that kind of led me thinking like his views are gravitating a little bit. Whereas there's like a very small line about like Hollywood corporate and school teaching philosophies. I think it's like, you're either dead or in jail. Killer psychologies. To me, that sounds like something off like that I would hear on like Fox News about like, hey, Hollywood runs everything. The Hollywood elite tell you what to teach in schools, and they like set the agenda. And like, to me, it just remind me of like, turning on Fox News and then be like, the liberal media wants you to believe this thing. Or like when I hear, I guess the conversation that was on a while about like what was that thing called?
Yeah.
Critical race theory. Like that was like a lot of like some of the stuff that I heard with the criticisms on
Yeah.
that. Which, again, this is a hot take. I'm not saying that Kendrick Lamar is like uh
Yeah.
is rocking a MAGA hat while we're not looking. He's not. I don't know this. I don't know this man at all. But that was something that like I saw. I've been noticing. I just wanted to bring up because it's a hot take.
I think I'll get really concerned when he starts he starts talking to Kanye. But yeah, I don't think it's going that thing. But I do think like your theory. I think your theory has legs because I definitely think his political views might have because at least in my opinion, his religious views have definitely shifted. I think you can argue that he's not a Christian anymore. It was more clear that he was like leading into faith in earlier his albums. Now it's probably less so, and that doesn't make him not a Christian, but like it doesn't necessarily like it's that's a question that only Kendrick will like what he thinks about his Christianity or if he's
Yeah.
still a Christian. And I think if you're asking those questions, it's easy to start asking questions about your political. I think of the big quick quote where most black people have music and religion, right? Where it's like, and so I at least in my opinion, like if one of those things are can kind of say, I don't want to say can kind of say, it could be an indicator of like some other changes. Is there anything you say before we go into our favorite quotes?
Nah, the hot takes are over. We
Okay.
we shall
Yeah.
we shall see in whenever we upload this, how how much ire this
Hey,
garners.
bro, don't worry, because like when we upload this, it'll be so long, everything will be cold.
True.
Like everything, like everything we upload. Let's start uploading the episodes of a reaction series months after it's gone. That's a great idea, nobody. You should just do that right now. Before we go into the quotes, what's your last thoughts on like what do you think of the album? I'll do mine real quick. I think the album's a good album. I think it's very thought provoking. Not sure what people expected from it. And I'm not sure why people are so angry or like weirded out about it. It seems like another like thought piece from Kendrick Lamar. which makes it an interesting album.
Yeah, I wonder if I would enjoy this album more as if I was younger, because as you get older, it's a lot harder for you to enjoy music.
Mm.
Like scientifically, like your body is like your ears are less able, and your brain is like less tuned into that kind of stuff. But I really liked the album. It wasn't like this. I didn't have the same feelings about it that I had about To Pimp a Butterfly or like Section 80. But I think I've listened to this album way more than I've listened to all of those albums combined. I definitely enjoy it. Like I play some of these songs over and over again. Yeah, I would definitely I think this album. I hate to say the word, but it's a masterpiece.
Oh no, he put out the masters in pieces. What a madman.
I think it's an album that's gonna stand for a long time. I didn't get time to say this. I kept thinking about this while we were going through this. I was just gonna put this out. I'm not gonna try to talk too much about it, but I think that this album was I don't want to. I hate to say this, but I think this album is like a more nuanced approach to kids on drugs.
You said your last take was your hot take, but you made this take your hot take. What a crazy person.
Yeah, yeah. Even but like we were joking about this before, but I'm not kind of serious now. Like Kendrick literally stole J. Cole's whole flow, even the songs about cheating on his wife.
Ooh, shit.
But he made a whole album out of it, and then kind of like took the idea of really trying to dissect these what these figures are from this like of the 2015s, like the mumble rap era. They both took this chance, like really try to dissect these characters. I think Kendrick Lamar just had a lot longer gestation period.
Bro, even though I know we only get like 3 views, I feel like we're gonna get a comment be like, "How dare you say something about Cole?"
No one's gonna watch it to this point. That's the beautiful thing. Unless we we gotta cut this up and show it. Like this has to be on like an actual like one of our cuts, so that way we can get the ire that we need. You know what this is good. You know what I've slowly realized my position is on the show
What?
or in this format. I think I'm Tekashi 6ix9ine or Joe Budden. I make very ridiculous, stupid statements, and then people get angry. I think it's my place.
All right, let's move into quotes before we close out. I said all of my quotes that I think throughout the thing, so I won't repeat them. The only one that I didn't say was from Silent Hill, the hook, pushing these off me like pushing these bitches off me like is fucking hilarious to me, and it's one of my favorite quotes from this album. Yeah, that's the only one. All the other ones I already think like the other ones I already said. I was saying like from Father Time, like from Big Steppers, from Mr. Morale. Actually, did I say this one? I don't think I said this one. Yeah, I didn't say this one either. This one's from Mr. Morale, and it says you should know that I'm slightly off fighting off demons that've been outside, better known as myself. I'm a demigod. Or it's like so yeah, that line stuck with me too, where it's like all these external problems are actually internal problems, kind of.
Yeah,
and it really relates. It really relates to himself.
Yeah, I like that line too. My favorite lines were like I've said it before that you won't grow waiting on me. You gotta find your own like answers in life. I also like the line like, yeah, Tupac's dead, gotta think for yourself. Heroes looking for the villains to help. I like that line.
Well, we have big stepped all over this album, and now we're at the end.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. If you have listened through this, thank you for watching. I have been Roscoe's Sweatsuit, except in point in time, so I have not been Roscoe's Sweatsuit. And this guy right here has been Nobody Knows.
Yep, Nobody Knows. That's how I've been all the time. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening to us. If you have any comments about this album, what do you think? What do you think this album is about, or what did it mean? Definitely listen in the comments. I'll be interested to read them. And
what's your hottest take?
Yeah, what is your hot take? Because by the time this comes out, all our takes are gonna be cold. So what's the hot take nowadays? But yeah, and yeah, if you're listening to this point, you've literally peaked the algorithm. So thanks for doing that.
And until next time, peace.